Gary Neville destroys Keir Starmer, "You've betrayed the working class, and you'll pay." In a striking and unprecedented attack, former Manchester United captain Gary Neville has publicly denounced Labour leader Keir Starmer, declaring, "You've betrayed the working class, and you'll pay." This powerful statement reverberates through the halls of British politics, framing a critical moment that could alter the course of the Labour Party and the nation itself. As Starmer grapples with increasing scrutiny, the implications of Neville's words resonate far beyond the football pitch, reverberating through the veins of a disillusioned electorate. Starmer's leadership has been marred by accusations of abandoning the very principles that once defined the labor movement. Critics argue that his pivot towards centrism represents a betrayal of the party's traditional base. Many fear that the Labour leader's reluctance to address pressing issues, such as the cost of living crisis and workers' rights, reflects a fundamental disconnect from the struggles of everyday Britons. This is not merely a political misstep, it is a moment of crisis that could reshape the political landscape for a generation. The stakes are higher than ever. With the backdrop of Brexit still fresh in the minds of voters, Starmer's compromises have led to questions about his commitment to democratic principles. The 2016 referendum was not just a vote, it was a clarion call for change, a demand from the working class that has seemingly been ignored. History teaches us that those who fail to heed the voices of the populace do so at their peril. In this context, Neville's comments are not just a personal critique, they are a rallying cry for those who feel marginalized and betrayed. Starmer's recent decisions, including his stance on key policies and his failure to robustly challenge the Conservative government, have left many wondering if he is the leader Labour needs to reclaim its legacy. Political analysts warn that if he continues down this path, he risks alienating not just his party's core supporters but also the broader electorate that yearns for genuine representation. This could mark a new era of influence, they caution, suggesting that a failure to reconnect with working-class voters could hand the keys of power to the Conservatives for another decade. In a heated exchange, Neville's remarks drew attention to the stark dichotomy between the rhetoric of leadership and the reality faced by countless workers. "The British people will not forgive a leader who turns his back on them," he asserted, invoking a historical struggle that resonates deeply within the Labour movement. "This is not just a battle for votes, it is a fight for the soul of the party, a struggle that harkens back to the days when Labour stood as a bastion of hope for the working poor." The ramifications of this discourse extend beyond Starmer and Neville. They encapsulate a broader struggle within the Labour Party itself, reflecting deep ideological divides that threaten to tear it apart. Many fear that if Starmer fails to regain the trust of his base, it could lead to a fracturing of the party, paving the way for the rise of more radical factions or a complete collapse into irrelevance. The stakes are indeed existential, the country stands at a crossroads, where the choices made today will echo for years to come. Critics of Starmer's leadership are not merely voicing discontent, they are issuing a warning. They argue that without a clear and compelling vision for the future, Labour risks becoming just another political entity, devoid of purpose and direction. The urgency of the moment demands a decisive response, a call to action that resonates with the ideals of justice, equity, and solidarity that once propelled the party to greatness. In this political maelstrom, Neville's intervention serves as a powerful reminder of the stakes involved. It is a clarion call for all who believe in the potential of a fairer society, urging them to unite against complacency and betrayal. The time is now for the Labour Party to reclaim its narrative, to stand firm against the tide of indifference, and to reaffirm its commitment to the working class. As this debate unfolds, it is essential for citizens to engage, to voice their opinions, and to demand accountability from their leaders. The future of the Labour Party, and perhaps the very fabric of British democracy, hangs in the balance. Join the conversation, like, subscribe, and become part of a growing movement that seeks to hold power to account. The fight for the soul of the nation is far from over, it is just beginning.